Every year, we collectively lose billions of dollars and productivity because of wrong decisions made when deciding between building a product versus buying something already available in the market. In this video, I will share lessons I learned from mistakes that I made or seen others making, and also discuss a framework that you can use to avoid common pitfalls while making this build versus buy decision. Hi, my name is Reet Kaur. Welcome to Sekaurity, where we will together explore information security concepts using simple ways that anyone can understand. All leaders commonly come across this choice of build versus buy or go for a hybrid of these two, and this can be a difficult decision to make as both these options have their own pitfalls. Looking back at my experiences, I have been on teams where we made similar mistakes. One team tried to code their own SIM, security incident and event management tool, only to fall short of what was available in the market, wasting months only to eventually scrap the project. At the same time, I've also been part of a team that bought a machine learning big data threat intelligence tool which costed us more than $1 million and yet didn't meet our expectations, and we had to later code something simpler and stakeholder focused in-house. Such a waste of money, time, and resources. Have you or your team been in this situation only to realize later that it was a bad decision? If so, please share it with us in comments below. Gartner has forecasted that IT spend will reach a total of $4 trillion and information security spend will hit $150 billion by end of 2021. With trillions of IT spend, billions go wasted due to wrong build versus buy decisions made by the leaders. Over the years, as I learned more and more, I started using a framework to help me avoid some of these common mistakes. This framework will not only help you or your team, but your entire organization going forward, as it will shed light on what you should consider before deciding on the best approach for your team, budget, and resources. The first thing I always do when starting a project is understanding the why. Get to the bottom of this before anything else. Try to understand why are you looking to implement something, whether it's technology or building a program, by asking simple questions such as, did this need arise due to some identified gap during a risk assessment or a security incident, or due to some new business or regulatory requirements you are trying to meet? What are you intending to solve? Who are your stakeholders? Who will use this project to do their job? Are they security analysts, or are they the CISO or CIO of the organization? Are they technical or not? For example, if not technical, you will need a user-friendly and a polished user interface. Another key thing you need to do is to frame user personas, whether they will be a customer, internal team, or some other organization, and see it from their perspective. The most important persona is your own organization, so think about the organization's mission, core competency, and goals. For example, if you work in the healthcare business and your organization's goals are not to build, train, and manage 24/7 security teams, or if you don't have resources to do so, then it might make sense to outsource tactical parts of your security operations and only keep strategic portions within your team. Connect your organization's vision to your team and your team's vision to a project's build versus buy decision. If all of them are not aligning, then it's a good indicator that you may want to buy rather than build. Many people tend to forget, but it's highly important that you understand the context behind the need and incorporate that into the decision-making process. Once you are satisfied with the why a project needs to be done, it's time to understand the what. Try to learn more about what this project or system will actually help you accomplish. Will it help to satisfy the requirements or needs or will it help close the gaps which you have identified in the why exercise? If it is a product, will it connect with other systems? Will it be compatible with other systems which you have in your environment? Sometimes you select a product without thoroughly doing the integration test, only to later realize that it's not compatible with your own systems, which is a total waste of money and effort. Once we were evaluating an endpoint threat detection and response tool, and we were very close to the final decision, then we realized that it was only compatible with Windows operating system and did not support Linux operating system. If we had bought that tool, it would have been such a huge mistake as 2/3 of our servers were Linux servers. In addition, you may also need to consider which teams will participate in the implementation. Do these teams have enough resources to help you with the project? What data, compliance, or legal requirements are you trying to meet? What is the stakeholders' appetite and how much budget do you have? What does the timeline look like? Is it urgent to implement or not? What are the list of must-have and good-to-have requirements? Answers to all these questions will come from proper understanding of use cases that need to be delivered. These answers will also give you an idea of what problem you are trying to solve and high-level architectural requirements for the project. Now that you know the why and the what, next step to explore is the how. How will you deliver this project with the right cost, controls, support, and connectivity? Let's look at these areas one by one closely. Number one is cost. This is the most obvious of all questions people generally consider when thinking about either building or buying a solution. They ask themselves, how much will be the total cost of ownership? To get to the total cost, you need to think about both real cost and the opportunity cost. Real cost is how much it will cost your organization to simply buy a solution, while on the other hand, opportunity cost is the value of time and resources which will go into building it. Also review fixed versus variable cost for this project, as sometimes buying a solution may have a high upfront cost or subscription fee. These are known as fixed expenses for a ready-to-use solution. Finance teams in most organizations always prefer fixed costs over unpredictability associated with building products in-house, especially when they are not core to the business. While real cost is easy to calculate, many new managers stumble and miscalculate opportunity cost when building solutions. Remember that building any solution will significantly distract your resources from solving core business problems, which may be more impactful to the overall organization's bottom line. Secondly, think about economies of scale, starting with how many users within or outside the organization will be using this solution. Will the cost of supporting and building the solution go up as more users start adopting it? If only a few users are going to use the solution, then is building the solution internally justified? Third is time to value. That is, how quickly your team can present solutions to stakeholders to keep them engaged or give them a competitive edge over others. Fourth is support. When building a solution in-house, we also have to think about resources required, annual operating budgets, hiring, onboarding, and training. Upon release, support will include bug tracking, remediation, and more. Support is typically overlooked by development teams who are so excited to create something internally, but leaders do need to be careful and think long-term in their strategy. From a CISO's perspective, we need to also think about controls and security around this decision. CISO team typically evaluates the decision in terms of whether the solution is going to be cloud-based or on-prem. If it is a software as a service or a SaaS-based product, then how the data is going to be controlled? What data is at risk of exposure? Will we be able to meet all the compliance requirements? You need to think about these questions. Once you have gone through understanding why, what, and how of the project, consolidate this information, which will help you to identify the right solution and decide between build versus buy. Now, let me give you some quick reasons when I suggest companies to build a solution. Number one, when you have limited budget to spend but have in-house resources to build. Number two, when your requirements are very focused and only a few people will use the product. Number three, when the solution aligns with your organization's and team's core mission. Number four, when you have serious security and compliance concerns. Number five, which is last but not the least, when you need 100% end-to-end ownership of a product or a service. And now, here are some reasons to buy. Number one, when you need the solution urgently with plug and play experience. That is, you plug it in and are able to use it right away. Number two, when your team doesn't have core competencies to develop the solution. Number three, when you don't have enough resources to maintain the solution to continuously release upgrades or patches to minimize bugs. Number four, when the solution will need dedicated training and support resources. In general, I believe that if buying a solution fits your requirement by more than 60%, then buying is the way to go. Yes, I do agree that you will not have full control over the product roadmap, but it will come with a lot less overhead. Moreover, nowadays many vendors work closely with customers when designing or improving their products. In my career, I have worked closely with many security startups and well-known vendors who listened to our ideas and needs and incorporated them in their products, which eventually helped them beat their competitors, and today they are the top of the line security products out there, thus resulting in a win-win situation for these vendors. Hope today's topic of build versus buy will help you in your future decisions. Please feel free to reach out with your questions or leave a comment or feedback below. Thanks and have a great day. See you next time.